Maxx Tuning, Mr. Neil Swafford. We're talking race cars primarily, but other cars as well. Madd Maxx will eke out every bit of horsepower and torque for your favorite ride. Neil Swafford knows what he is doing. Welcome to Road Odyssey. Thank you for joining me. I have my YouTube channel with hundreds of fun car content videos and my Facebook page with all of my current happenings. Madd Maxx Tuning and Performance is just that and more. Located in Paris, Texas, and of course, the owner is a drag racer himself. His brother, well, aside from doing many other things, Aaron Swafford is a great photographer, has Swaff Shots, and has taken the drag strip pictures that I'm using for this video. From the Facebook page, you will see Madd Maxx Tuning and Performance, specializing in high performance tuning and upgrades to give you the winning edge. Elevate your drag racing experience with us. So, Neil Swafford is the owner and tech. He puts more than 100% into his work, which means he will help install the proper fuel system, transmission needs wiring, and just improve the health of your engine and drive. Very comprehensive. Oh, I said he goes beyond 100%. Well, he does. If what I have described isn't enough, how about if Neil Swafford goes to your place or shop to do the work? Now that's impressive. Neil has worked at Precision Auto in Paris, Texas, and working on automobiles for over 20 years. I think he said about 25 years. And here's the owner of Precision Auto, James McNeil, a super cool guy as well. In this video, Neil will be using the dyno at Precision Auto, located on 2675 North Main in Paris, Texas. Allow me to show you a couple of cars that have been at the shop and at this dyno position within the shop. This is the 1975 Nova Dragster being prepped for the tuning process for this occasion. How all of this came about for me. Neil's regular job is working at Precision Automotive, located on North 271, just off Loop 286 in Paris, and he has access to the dyno bay for tuning. Earlier in the day, I had visited Precision for my own personal car reasons and ran into Neil, and he invited me to watch and record that same night as he tunes a Dragster for two-stage nitrous. So that night, I showed up at Precision Auto at about 6 p.m. and Neil had the Dragster strapped in and basically ready for tuning. He was still setting up the software and getting readings from the exhaust. I will be showing you initial pulls for baseline, timing checks, and the final tune. And within the timing checks, there's just a lot of timing, top dead center checking, fuel checking, distributor rotor phase checking, map checking, all kinds of good checking here, there, and everywhere. He will be resetting the timing for the two-stage nitrous. and just checking plugs for problems as well. And that's going to be pretty much it. So let's get this thing going. Here is what I experienced and learned, considering I have never seen any of this before. After this first pull, Neil reviewed the results and was concerned that something didn't seem right. The car ran badly. That pull gave about 600 horsepower, 745 torque, but Neil reviewed everything and it was not right. For this car, he knew a little bit of the background of this car, and it just wasn't what anybody had actually expected. So it was kind of like, let's get back to the drawing board, clean the slate, and start over. So Neil began by checking the timing for the first time here and found that the timing was off, perhaps by about 24 degrees or so. He changed the timing some to verify that the engine's basic timing was off. He just wanted the engine alone to do well with no other complications. He verified that the engine's best timing position was correct, just validating the engine's initial setting before going any further. What he is needing is a perfect engine baseline to work from, just to begin with. Here he does his second pull. Alright, so the second pull was not a very good improvement at all. Neil could tell something was still wrong, so he really wanted to double check the engine's timing. Just trying to get this baseline timing down right for the engine. Neil removed the timing marks from the customer, made his own timing marks, then double checked the fuel mapping. He then double checked the fuel and the fuel system, make sure that was working right. Here he checked the distributor's rotor phase position. Apparently that was off. He made sure that he had top dead center, TDC. After making sure the TDC was right, he went back to make sure the distributor's rotor was pointing in the right direction. He also wanted to look at the number one spark plug to be sure there was nothing bad going on in the cylinder. So, does he see metal flakes on the spark plug, for example? And that they, for real, had the TDC correct and the distributor pointing in the right direction. He had also done a quick check of the plug wires to be sure they looked okay. To be 100% sure that the engine's timing was getting done perfectly, he had a second person make sure that he had the timing marks just right. So secondly, the second guy checked out the rotor phase as well, which is basically making sure that sparks jump between the rotor and the electrode point on the distributor cap at the rotor's best clocked or phased position. Or, when I look this up, a quote is, "The closest distance between the rotor and the terminal on a distributor cap where the goal is to have the smallest distance between the rotor button and the target post at all firing angles." Well, there you are. Anyway, when satisfied that the timing, rotor phase, and all that was good, they got ready for another pull to be sure that the engine's timing is completed. Okay, here goes the third pull. timing, and rotor phase was corrected for the engine. With the alterations, the engine gained about 100 horsepower and 50 torque. Neil considered what to do next. The engine timing baseline was good now, about 700 horsepower, 800 torque or so. He knows that NOS will drop timing. He has to take the motor timing value, then subtract the first stage and second stage of NOS use, but still maintaining a good enough engine timing. So the timing for the engine alone, without NOS or anything else, is about 22 degrees. He adds 11 degrees of timing to account for an 11-degree drop for the first 400 shot NOS hit. With the timing of the engine increased to 33 degrees, he turns down the carburetor's idle a little. Then he does one last engine timing check to be sure it is sitting at about 33 degrees. Neil also makes sure the fuel map settings are right for all of the changes as well before doing the next fourth and final pull. Since the Dragster should make substantially more power, it is wise to further strap down the car to prevent an accident. Neil makes sure that the NOS system is set up correctly for a clean pull. He is looking at a standard 400 shot or somewhere thereabouts. Time for the fourth and final pull. Let's see how all this setting up does. Neil's pull with the 1975 Nova came to be about 1,014 horsepower and 1166 torque. That included the 400 shot of NOS. For an eighth mile speed, they might expect about 135 miles per hour. He calculated that the horsepower at the crank might be at about 1220. Magnificent. With this data, Neil advised the owner of altering his wheel and gearing setup to produce better track times under different track conditions. Wrapping up, Neil pulled a plug or two, checking for metal flakes on the plugs. He saw none, so it looked like the timing setup and the pulls did no damage to the engine. I mentioned the first stage NOS about 400 shot setup. This 1975 Nova Dragster also has a scramble kit. This is another port in the spacer below the carburetor for a little more NOS, about a 200 shot, to be in addition to the first stage NOS shot. Thus called the second stage NOS or scramble kit. Pretty cool backup plan if you're dead set on doing whatever you can to win a drag race. Okay, well, it was getting late. They began to break everything down. This is not really all I wanted to share with you. I want you to know Neil Swafford, Madd Maxx Tuning, can do a lot of various work, including all kinds of repairs, various types of tuning, wiring, and so forth. I really enjoyed watching Neil work and make the 1975 Nova come to life for the drag strip, something I've personally never seen before. So thanks a ton to Neil for inviting me. Thank you all for watching. I seriously appreciate it. Please like and subscribe. It makes a huge difference for me and you. View. That is super important in the YouTube world. View videos. And also, please relax, take it easy, and I will see you later. Bye.